Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Battle.Garage. Today I'm going to introduce you to my 1984 AMC Eagle. Now, I get a lot of questions on this car. What is it? Who made it? Where did it come from? Is it four-wheel drive? Just various questions like that. So if you haven't heard of AMC, AMC is American Motors Company, and they own Jeep at one point. So basically what they did in short is they took their passenger cars and put four-wheel drive in them and called them the Eagle, creating a new section of automotive technology that was way ahead of its time, and now that everything is basically based off of. So in a minute here, I'm going to take you for a walk around the car. First, I'm going to tell you a little about it, the history of the vehicle. This car was sitting in a guy's lawn for about 14 years. I noticed it when I moved to this area back in 2008. And I said, hey, look, there's an Eagle. I really want to buy one of them someday. That one looks like it's probably too far gone to save. Well, fast forward about 10 years from that point, and I had bought an AMC Eagle SX4 and another AMC Eagle wagon, and I said, gee, I'm going to need parts. So what better way to get parts than to buy a whole parts car? So I went and checked this car out and got in touch with the guy, made an agreement to purchase the car for $300 because I figured, that's about what's worth in scrap value. As I'm working on the car, digging it out of the ground where it sat, putting fresh tires on it so it'll roll home, I noticed that there's almost no rust on the entire vehicle. And so I asked the guy, so why was it parked? And he said, oh, the rear end blew out in it. And we tried to replace it, and they got the wrong rear end, and so here it sat. So I said, okay, I got it home. I put a fresh battery in it, dumped some gas down the carburetor, and the car fired right up and ran. And idled on gas that was in the tank for the last 14 years. So at that point I said, gee, I can't part with this car. It's too nice. Everything electrical worked. It ran great. So I'm like, I can't use this for parts. So it sat around my property for about another 3 years, and I acquired more Eagles. And there came a point in time where I needed something to drive, and I sat there looking at this, and I said, I bet you that wouldn't take anything to start driving. So I gathered up a couple $100. I threw on some new spark plugs, wires, cap, rotor, fuel pump, fuel line, and filters. And I started daily driving the car. And over the course of the 3 years or so that I've been driving it now, I have put maybe $2,500 into this car. I put new springs in front and back, shocks, aluminum valve cover, just basic maintenance stuff. I haven't done anything real major to it. The biggest thing I've done to this car is I lost third gear in the automatic transmission about 2 years ago, and I pulled the automatic and I swapped out a 5-speed and put that in. So now it is a 5-speed manual car. And I absolutely love this thing. I love Eagles in general. This is one of 10, I believe, I own at the moment. This car's made some transformations. It was originally a terrible brown. I nicknamed it the Turd Bird, which then later on it has got the name Greenback Boogie. If you're familiar with the TV show Suits, you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm going to walk you around, tell you a little bit more about the car, and yeah. So, as I'd mentioned, this car was originally brown with the wood grain siding. Now, if you're watching this and you know anything about AMC Eagles, you can probably immediately tell that this was a limited edition one. And most of the limited edition ones had vinyl wood grain siding on them. Well, what happens to wood grain siding after it, or vinyl, after it sits for, the car's 40 years old? So it was on the car for 40 years, and about 20 of those years it was neglected. The vinyl fades and becomes brittle and very bad looking. So when I started driving the car, there was a weekend I wanted to start working on it and spiff it up, make it look a little better. And I started taking the vinyl siding off, and the paint came with it. So I decided to strip the whole car down and repaint it. Now, I had never painted a car before, and I figured, well, what better time to learn how to paint a car? So I did it on the very cheap. I went to Tractor Supply and I bought a quart of Ford Blue and a quart of black, and I mixed the two of them together until I got a nice dark blue color, and I painted the car that color. Now, did I do it right? Absolutely not. I didn't put primer on the bare metal or anything of the sort. So about 2 years went by, or not 2 years, about one winter went by, and rust started coming through the paint because I didn't primer it. And so then I stripped it all down again and repainted it. This time I put a little more effort into it, but I also went even cheaper on the paint. I went to Ace Hardware and I bought Rust-Oleum acrylic house paint, essentially, I believe, and painted it with that. And that's been on here for about 1.5 years now. And as you can see, the hood has faded quite a bit. I didn't add any kind of clear or anything to it. I just sprayed it on and called it good. So that's the story on the paint jobs. We're going to venture on into the interior, which is getting pretty rough at this point. And, you know, there's going to be signs of me using this car because this is my daily driver. And believe it or not, my business vehicle. I travel all over about 4 counties doing work, and this is my transportation. Gets a lot of attention. Mostly good. I get a lot of people commenting on it, asking about it, and there's always someone that had one in the family at one point in time. So when I bought this car, it had 74,000 original miles on it. Now it's got 97,000 miles on it. So I've put was a little over 20,000 miles on it in the last 3 years I've been driving it. As I said, I upgraded it to a manual. That street sign down there actually came with the car when I bought it. And the manual hole is much smaller than the automatic holes that they put in these cars, so I used that street sign to patch up the hole. Someday I'm going to get some decent carpet in here. I have my $20 Walmart stereo. And over here, if you're not familiar, that's your four-wheel drive. On the mid 81 to 85 vehicles, to put it in four-wheel drive, you pull down on this lever and pull over this lever. And that's how you engage four-wheel drive. You do need to be at a full stop to engage this one. Later models, 85 and up, you can do a rolling engagement, and it no longer had this. Reason being is in 85 and up, they got rid of the vacuum on the front diff that engaged, it locked the front diff in. It was transfer case only. This particular vehicle has a vacuum pot on the front diff and on the transfer case to lock it into four-wheel drive. I have since permanently locked in the front diff, so all of this is engaging when I drive it. If I use it, is the differential. You'll probably notice that this has a roof visor or sun cap, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, this was not an option for these cars, and you can tell it's not quite the right fit, but it does fit pretty good. That is off a second generation Jeep Grand Cherokee. I thought one of these would look really good on this car, and I finally found one for the right price, and I put it on here with 0 modifications, and I think it turned out pretty well. So that was a quick walk around of my 1984 AMC Eagle. If you want to know more about this car, subscribe, follow, comment below. I will be glad to answer questions. I'm sure I left some things out, like the engine, for example, in this is a 258 inline 6. It was what most of them had, or you could get the GM Iron Duke 4-cylinder, or for a brief amount of time, AMC offered their 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that came out in '83. But pretty rare to see an Eagle with that engine. Stay tuned in the video. I'm going to show basically the process of the car from when I got it to where it is now. And yeah, just enjoy that, and see you next time. 3 years to the day, I took it back to the guy that I purchased it from and showed him the progress of the car. I asked him if I could park it where it sat for 14 years and take some pictures. He said, yes, go ahead.